Welcome to Blueprint Boost for Contractors, the podcast that's your go-to source for unlocking the secrets to successful marketing, gaining valuable insights, and growing your contracting business with less stress. Your host is David Brooks, and he's thrilled to be your guide on this journey. As a seasoned expert in the contracting industry, David understands the challenges you face. That's why each episode is crafted to provide you with actionable strategies and proven blueprints to boost your business to new heights.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, David Brooks, powered by Contractor Rhino, your go-to source for all your digital marketing and accounting needs for the trades. For this episode, we have a returning guest with us, and I'll allow him to reintroduce himself.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Christopher Warner with Garden State Exterior Cleaning.
Hey, Chris, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. So we have our coffee chat theme. We're just going to be covering a few different areas and topics here. And I think the first one we can get into is just the importance of having a backup plan for your business. And you had something happen to you last year, and you had to kind of navigate through that. Can you tell us a little bit about that and give us some advice?
Yeah, so on September 1st, I was kind of hanging out with one of my buddies. We were just screwing around, and I broke my leg. I was riding a bicycle, actually, a little kid's bike, and just kind of messing around and having a good time. And one thing led to another, and next thing you know, I'm on my back in the middle of the street, and yeah, I broke my leg. So I broke it on September 1st. The doctor said it was going to heal on its own. Apparently, they don't cast injuries like that anymore, which I was pretty surprised. But told me, don't put any weight on it. Basically take it easy for the next 4 weeks. And I did exactly that. I used crutches to get around. The very little that I did move around, and went back to the doctors, and they said, yeah, this isn't healing, you need to get surgery. And I think 4 or 5 days later I had to go in, and they actually put a plate and 6 screws in my leg. So this was I've never broken a bone before, so this was all kind of new to me. um but for somebody that's not prepared, that this could be detrimental to their business. I mean, um thankfully, I have a helper who's been with me for like the last 5 years now. He's been good to me, and I try to be really good to him. And he was able to pretty much run the show while I was, you know, laying on my couch. There was a few times where I would drive around with him, but he did 100% of the work. So it's important just to, if you're a single man operation, if you're running just a small business or a little side hustle, um, it's important to either one, have the right insurance. A buddy of mine, he is a roofer, and he always talked about how important it was to, have insurance. He ended up falling off a roof, years ago, and I want to say he broke his back. Actually, it was pretty bad. He was out of work for almost a year, and because he had the right insurance, on himself, he was able to collect a salary that whole year. He said he made upwards of 100 and something thousand dollars from the insurance company because he had the right coverage, and he was always legit. A lot of people like to brag about hiding all this money that they make. Um, that's often not the case. You don't want to do that. If you're hiding all this money and something happens to you, and the insurance says, "Oh, well, how much money did you make this year?" On paper, and you're telling them, "Oh, I made 2,000 last year." Well, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get 2,000, if that, if you're lucky. So, just having the proper insurance, um, having, guys that can work without you, having systems in place, um, just everything in that aspect. And I was one of them guys. I thought nothing could ever happen to me. I've been riding motorcycles and dirt bikes since I was a kid, and then I was playing on a little bicycle, a pedal bicycle, and that's what did it to me. And even this year, I still ride motorcycles and dirt bikes, and yeah, it's the things that you least expect it. And I fortunately was pretty lucky actually.
Yeah, and that's sorry to hear that about the injury, but you just never know, like you said, what will happen, and then what's your game plan for that? Anything could circumstances, whether that be in recreation, or just on the job, and now you're down, and how does the business keep afloat? What processes and systems do you have in place, or if you just get ill for a period
Yeah.
and have to step away, that's also a huge one that's also overlooked.
Yeah, it really is. Years ago, when I was running my landscaping company, I remember one of my neighbors asked me to cut his lawn, and he kind of said, "Well, what happens if you get sick?" He was very very strict on wanting his lawn cut every week. He wanted to cut every week, no matter what. If it rained, he understood, but he wanted you to be there the next day or the day after. And he asked me, well, what happens if you get sick? And I kind of like jokingly said to him, I don't get sick in the summer. And he kind of like, smirked at me, but this is going back 10 years ago or more, probably 15 years ago. And I still remember having this conversation with him, because it is, people get sick, things happen, accidents happen, um, even with vehicles and stuff. You get in an accident, with your work truck. You only got one vehicle. Um, what are you going to do? So you need to have, like, backup plan, backup equipment, helpers, systems in place, just, a general game plan. It's all things that, you really need to consider if you are self-employed, and your business is your primary income. Mine happened, like I said, September 1st, and while it was rough, because our July and August are typically a little bit slower for us, and September and October typically pick back up. So we were able to still work. I didn't have my ads going as high as I normally would. So, I wasn't crushing it by any means, but I was kind of just getting by and, keeping customers happy. Um, but that said, if this would have happened to me in uh April or so, April, May, even June, um it would have been awful. Those are our busy months, and that's really, I make 75% of my money for the year in those 3 months.
And you talk about, timing and of the situation, it really could have been a lot worse. And then, where would you have been?
Yeah, and truthfully, I don't know what I would have done. Thankfully, I have savings, which again is important. I see some of these guys, as soon as they start, making money, they're just, blowing it, buying toys and fancy stuff, and you really need to, save your money, invest your money, you know. Um, but yeah, super super important. Just have some sort of game plan and backup plan for, you know if or when something happens.
No, yeah, I totally agree. And then in harmony with that, we talk about, having a backup plan and being able to prepare for unforeseen occurrences and situations. Uh, how do we also navigate, or how do you also navigate through the slow season?
So I've always worked in seasonal businesses, so naturally I just I've always been a saver. but um, basically, how personally how I operate is uh, I know that we're going to be slow in July and August. Um, so I kind of just prepare for that. My helper kind of knows. Fortunately, we work, a lot through April, May, and June, and I'm able to have a nice little cushion for when July comes, where we just know that we're not going to be working as much, and we're not going to have that much money coming in. Um, this year I'll probably give my helper. Typically, I give him a Christmas bonus, but I'm probably going to give him a mid-year bonus as well, just to kind of keep him happy and keep him comfortable. Um, but typically, I have bills. Everybody has bills. So how I operate is, money that we make in September and October. I try to use that money to cover my bills for the winter. This year was a little bit different because of my injury, but last year, we did a big project in August. I got paid in right around October, sometime in October, and that was all money that was just coming right to me. I could have went out and bought a motorcycle or a jet ski or whatever. I could have bought whatever, a down payment on a car, and instead I took that money and I immediately put it into an account to pay my mortgage for the whole winter. um so instead of just blowing that money that came in, that was all for mortgage payments and expenses for the you know November, basically November, December, January, February, March. My bills were pretty much covered.
Well, that's good. That's, good that you had that mindset to be able to have a game plan as a backup, and to be able to set some things aside. And as tempting as it is, for everybody to get that feeling of maybe they want to go out and make a certain purchase, you really want to be smart and plan ahead. And you might say, maybe I can hold off a little bit longer instead of making that purchase unless it's really necessary.
Yeah, so the reality of it is businesses get slow. Um, even businesses that aren't seasonal necessarily. My businesses have always been seasonal, especially right now with pressure washing. The fact is, we're not working. It's, I don't know, 30 degrees out right now. We're not going out pressure washing right now. Um, a buddy of mine, he owns a general contracting business, and he gets slow. A few years ago, he had upwards of 80 employees, and now he has 25 employees. To him, that's slow to him. It might not be to others, but he's really had to change the way he operates every day. Um, it's not always a bad thing. You just have to prepare for it and kind of know it's coming. Businesses, they're going to have some slow periods. I've thankfully been able to, been in this business long enough where I basically know that, yeah, July and August, for us, it gets a little bit slower, and then you obviously have your winter months. Um, Now there's things to kind of counteract that. You can, in July and August, you can always do more outbound advertising, I think they call it. As um, instead of inbound. So that would be like actually, targeting specific, homes with flyers, door to door, that type of thing. So, there are things you can do. A lot of guys in this industry now are, for winter months, they're converting to doing Christmas lights, which is, from what I've seen and what I've been told, extremely, extremely profitable. There's guys that they make a ton of money just doing Christmas lights in a few short months. But that's a whole nother business. My buddy keeps begging me to start a Christmas light business up, and truthfully, as of right now, I don't really want anything to do with it. That's just me personally, though.
Yeah, it's you mentioned, your buddy having that higher overhead as far as employee count, and then having to scale down. So you really have to, you know, have forecasting, planning ahead, figuring out what's right for your business. Sometimes you could be a little bit bloated. Talked to a pressure washing company the other week, and they had a little bit too many employees for the amount of revenue that they were bringing in, and it just wasn't balancing it out, and it's not allowing the business to grow because the overhead was too much overhead. So,
Yeah.
you have to realize and know, like, hey, I got to cut down.
I see it all the time, all the time. I watched a podcast recently where the guy had, he was, he was the owner, and I think he might have had a partner as well, and they kind of acted as salespeople, and then he had two helpers, so it was the four of them, and they were bragging about having $70,000 months. They were grossing 70,000 in April and May, I think it was, or May and June, something like that. And I mean, yeah, that's fantastic. But I can do almost that with myself and one guy versus four people. So yeah, it sounds good, but sometimes it's not that great. I talked to another guy. He had 25 employees, and we were talking about our numbers and stuff. And yeah, he made more than me, but for what he dealt with and the amount of stress he had, I was like, yeah, I'm not even jealous of you, man. I don't even want to be in that situation because it was just constant headaches. And truthfully, he didn't make much more than I do.
Mhm. And that's the thing. It's, learning, what you can handle on your end, and then what is the ideal makeup of your business. Uh, and success comes in a lot of different ways, and how you constitute success is also varied from person to person. But you also have to take a step back and, like, is this truly successful, right? Could I actually be doing this with less? And I think a lot of people get lost in the numbers and how much you're doing each month, but it's like, at the end of the day, will that be affecting your bottom line? Are you just getting too much overhead, and then it's eventually going to cut into your pricing? Is it too much stress or too much growth too soon, and you don't have all the right systems and processes in place? There's a bunch of different things that you need to factor in for that. And then going back to the Christmas light, business idea, everything is not for everybody. It is a really good add-on to your business if to be able to keep you busy in a slow season. It's a really nice offering, but sometimes you may not want to take on that additional responsibility, that additional business that you have to do. And some people are just okay with I'm good with what I have, and I know my numbers, and I know we're going to get slow here, and I'm prepared for it, and this works for me.
Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of where I am. I'd rather try to make a few more bucks in the summer than have to go out and you know be up on roofs when it's 20 degrees out, hanging Christmas lights. And then the thing is I talked to a buddy of mine. He's telling me about all these jobs he's doing, installing Christmas lights. And I'm like, yo, man, you realize you still got to take these lights down, right? And he's like, yeah, yeah, I know, And we kind of joke about it. But then, January came, and he was out in Pennsylvania. They were getting a ton of snow, and I was like, what are you doing, man? Like what's your game plan? And then we even talked, Christmas lights. They have a very short period. He gets calls in, December, and these people aren't going to pay him what he wants to hang Christmas lights if they're only going to be up for a week before Christmas. So we talked, and I said, yeah, man, like if you guys get a snowstorm or if something happens, what's your game plan? What do you do? And he was like, oh, dude, I can't even talk about it right now. I don't even want to think like that. But it's something that you have to think about if your business is if you're on some sort of time crunch and you have to worry about the weather.
Yeah, it's different factors, like that you have to be able to consider, and thinking about the area, with the upcoming winter. So forecasting. So that's where forecasting comes in. So you may say, okay, let's just say you did decide to bring on, the Christmas lights, and lighting, for the winter, but you might say, okay, well, this winter is projected to be pretty rough. So you may
Yeah.
say, I may skip this winter, right? And you may not do it one year. You may wait to another winter to be able to say, okay, I'm going to handle lights or or add-ons. So it's a difference. A couple different ways you could add on. It doesn't have to just be holiday lighting. It could also be just outdoor patio lighting too, as well as an added additional offer. And if you start doing those, you could get some of those jobs where it could go into spring, summer, and then if you have the bandwidth to be able to expand, you could.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that. I'm actually working on another project right now that will be somewhat similar. I can't talk about it too much right now because there's not really anybody that really does it, but it's very similar to the Christmas light business, um, with a lot less headaches. And maybe part three, I'll be able to hopefully share, what I plan to do there. But as of right now, I'm keeping it a little secret.
Yeah, no, keep it close to the vest. We'll be curious.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll be
yeah.
see from.
There's a few things. I'm working on a few different little things right now that will go kind of hand in hand with my business. Um, that nobody's really doing in this area. So I'm kind of interesting. I'm hoping to at least have the ball rolling on, on a few of those things. And again, you don't always have to hit, a home run. For me, like I'm working on these little projects, and I'd be okay with a double.
Mhm.
So it's just something to kind of keep the ball rolling, keep us a little bit more busy. Um, but not so much headaches.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, it's good to always to be working, on the business and coming up with new ideas, and new different things you could implement, ways to increase your offering, without adding on too much headache or too much responsibility, that's gonna just bog you down. But that's good. Always be thinking ahead, always be planning, always, have a game plan looking moving forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I know we touched on another thing that I wanted to bring up in our conversation earlier, and that was you logging into social media. And can you just tell us some of the things you're seeing when you're logging into your social media feed?
So everybody's getting excited right now for pressure washing season. Um, that being said, I'm starting to slowly see pressure washing ads on Facebook, and this happens, obviously every year. Right now, personally, I'm not running any major ads right now because I think it's just a little bit too early. In fact, I just did an email blast, maybe about a week ago now, 10 days ago, and I emailed almost 1,400 customers, and very little responded. And I'm okay with that because the emails don't really cost me anything. Um, but it's just a matter of timing. It's too early. People, it's 30 degrees out. People, they don't care about trying to schedule a pressure washing for their home right now. With that said, I'm on Facebook quite frequently. I'm on a lot of different groups on there, and I'm just, it's slow right now for me. I'm kind of just sitting around scrolling, and constantly, and it's already starting, constantly seeing Facebook ads, and for pressure washing. I tend to not so much click on them because I don't want to cost the contractor money. but I will, look at them, see what they're offering, see, what they're doing, and constantly I'm getting ads for companies that don't service our territory. Um, I'm getting ads for guys in Florida, guys in Texas, guys in Ohio, um, just all over the place. And a lot of these times, these guys don't even realize it. Every once in a while, I will click on it, and I feel bad because I know it's costing them money, but I'll send them a message like, "Hey, man, I see you're in Texas, and I'm getting your ads in New Jersey. You might want to look into this." Um, so make sure you're targeting the right audiences. That's really it. This happens all the time, and I don't know if guys are just paying people to do their ads, if they're doing them themselves and they don't know any better, if they're trying to target a general audience. Maybe they're targeting, and one of their targeted audiences is pressure washing, and that's why I get so many of them. Um, but like, yeah, I'm a pressure washer. I'm not going to hire another pressure washer, obviously, and especially somebody from Texas. Um, so it's just, you're just throwing money out the window. Make sure you target the right audiences, and then make sure you know your target audience as well, which is super important. Um, just this morning, I saw another Facebook ad, and the guy's running, quote unquote, a special, and he has his prices listed on the the Facebook ad. And I don't want to say too much about his prices, but he was really, really high. To me personally, it didn't seem like it was that much of a special. And I mean, I hope he gets them prices, but it's just, in the area that we're in, it's lower to middle class. And as soon as I seen that ad, I was thinking like, man, that's crazy. Like if I were to send quotes out to customers that were that high, um, I would never work. I would never have any business.
Yeah, that's really good information to be able to have. Like you said, you don't want to click on an ad and cost your somebody some money, another contractor. But it's also good to be aware of the market, the offerings, what's going on out there. Because you need to be in tune with your demographics. Uh,
Yeah.
audience. You need to know what's going on if you're um too low, too high, and you still have to consider your expenses and your costs, but you want to be able to make it make sense.
A lot of people, and I was this way at first too. People join these Facebook groups. For me, there's 50 power washing Facebook groups, and I try to be a part of most of them. And guys love to brag about how much money they're making and how much money they're charging on there, but um, the reality of it is everybody's situation is different. Um, and sure, this guy, he might be on Facebook talking about how he washes, my average house wash cost is $1,500. Well, that's great, but it's not great if you're only washing two houses a month, and that's what guys kind of fail to talk about when they're bragging about how much money they charge. So you get on these groups and everybody's oh you're too cheap, you're too cheap, and I understand other contractors, they want to everybody to bump their pricing up. Um, but with that being said, you need to know when and where you can charge that much, and especially this guy's running you know a promotion right now. Well, like I said, it's February right now. It's 30 degrees. Um, his promotion, it didn't really seem that great of a promotion to me. And who knows? I'm a contractor. Maybe a consumer might think differently. Um, But, to me personally, I'm curious as to, um, how many jobs he'll actually get from that, if any.
Mhm.
And it's okay. He might be learning, you know, everybody has to start somewhere, but for us, with New Jersey is very diverse. We have, some of the richest towns in the country, and then 15, if you drive 15 minutes and you're in some of the poorest towns. And, um, it's kind of, the people that are living in some of those poorer communities, they're not, they're not going to pay, or they might not even be looking for the same service as somebody that's living in, Morristown or Haddonfield or, Medford, just for an example.
Yeah, you definitely need, and you don't know what, like you said, we don't know where he was at in his business. Could have been just starting out, trying to make a name for herself. And you have to know your target demographic in your area. Just like you said, townships can change very quickly from where, just across the U.S., period. You could be in a really a high-end scale area, and then, you could go 10, 15 minutes away, and, you can get an area that's not as, high scale. So, it's definitely about knowing what you could charge in these different areas, and also the ad targeting has to be right too. A lot of contractors are out here running ads, and the ad targeting is totally off. If I'm in Tampa, I don't need to be seeing your ad, and I live in Orlando, Florida. That's just like a waste of your dollars. That's a waste of your marketing budget, and you're doing your business a disservice because you may not even be aware that your targeting is that off, and we don't even know how long the ads have been going like that. So just imagine all the missed opportunities because you're not getting your targeting right. So whether that's running a campaign on your own or using a marketing company, and you just don't know what's going on with your ads.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, so we talked about a variety of different things, just in our coffee chat, very good information. Um, what are some things that people can keep in mind, as we're going to be going into the busy season, so they can start gearing up and making sure that they have everything in order?
Um, for me personally, right now, I'm kind of waiting to start running heavy ads until the weather breaks a little bit more. I always have my Google ads on, but I turn them down substantially in the winter. I think it's just a little bit too early to really start advertising heavy. Just being the weather, it's just too cold. Right, right now, I've been working on some of my website stuff, some of my SEO. Um, I'm just kind of trying to figure out sort of like a game plan for this season. I've been talking with my helper to kind of feel him out and see what his plans are for this year, see where he wants to be. Um, I'm going to be doing maintenance, taking care of your equipment. It's huge. So in a few weeks here, or it could be this week, but I just need a nice, warm day. I'll be doing, just basic maintenance on truck, trailer, machines, making sure everything's up and running. Um, I, I talked about, doing those mass emails, the email campaigns. I'll use MailChimp for that, which I think I'm going to transition into a program that Jobber's offering now. Um, so I've been kind of researching all that. Something new I'm going to do for this year is I'm going to run a text campaign. Um, I have about 1,400 or so emails, but I have around 1,600 phone numbers. And um, naturally, people just are quicker to text than they are to email. Some people don't even look at their email that frequently, or they get so much junk mail that they skip past the mail that isn't junk. So that's going to be something new for me. I'm really excited to try that out. I already did like a tiny little test run, and kind of set up a text message and what I wanted to say and all that good stuff. Um, it's just a matter of timing for this business. Everything is based on weather. Ideally, if we can get like a a sunny Saturday or Sunday where it's 50 degrees, that kind of excites people this time of year. It doesn't seem very warm, but when it goes from 30 to 50, it's like people are like walking around in t-shirts and shorts. So I'm kind of just waiting for the right day, and then as soon as that day comes, I'm going to hit all my customers with a text message, and it's basically just going to say, hey, weather's breaking. How's your house looking? Is it time for a wash yet? Give us a call. Something along those lines. Short, sweet, right to the point. Um, so I'm excited for that. I'm gonna try to run more Facebook ads this year, I believe. Even though I've ran them in the past and I've always had better results with Google, um, I want to at least give Facebook another shot. Um, I'm gonna order some things for work. Last year I did a complete overhaul. I basically sold all my old equipment and bought all new equipment. So everything is still pretty much new. But there's a few things that I need to buy that will help our business be more efficient. And I'm gonna purchase those things soon and kind of get them all set up on my trailer. It should help us out pretty substantially. Um, yeah, that's really it right now, man. I'm just trying to keep active and keep my mind busy, and right now it's kind of just a waiting game because it's so cold here. Um, I'm really waiting for the weather to break.
Yeah, no, that's really good to be able to, you have your game plan in place. Your timing for it, different things to keep in mind, or when to have the ads going, when to start the email outreach, when to start, getting in contact back with some of your customers, and just, making sure the equipment's ready, any changes that you're making from the prior year to be able to have that all lined up in place. So that way when, the season starts, you're ready to go. You have your changes already implemented in place, instead of just, waiting to the last minute, and you're rushing to try to get everything through. And then another, busy season goes by and you're like, man, I really wanted to do this change or implement this, and you didn't get a chance to do it because
Yeah, and that constantly happens with this business. Maybe it's just me. I think it's everybody deals with it in some sort of way though. A good example is last year we ordered 100 yard signs. I've always been pretty big on yard signs. So we ordered 100 yard signs to just put it out front of customers' houses when we're done washing the house. And um, I don't think I put a single yard sign out. I literally still have the box sitting in my garage right now. So thankfully, I don't have to order yard signs yet this year because I have them. But I really should have did them last year, and uh, quite honestly, we just got so busy. We got so busy, and I just said, oh yeah, we don't even need to do yard signs right now. But who's to say? I mean, if I did yard signs, maybe I would have, went out and bought a second truck and, been twice as busy. So this year I'm going to try to, I'm pretty much ready to, to buy another truck. So this year I'm going to really try to, put them yard signs out everywhere, even if customers don't call right then. Um, People just remember, especially if their neighbor has a yard sign and they're driving past their house every day. Um, it might be a year later, and the neighbor might go to their neighbor who we washed and say, "Hey, I remember you had a yard sign out front of your house for somebody that washed your house. Who was it? Did they do a good job?" Um, So yard signs are important, things like that, and just doing, just staying active, doing things that, you know, you, I guess, what am I trying to say here? Just if you're thinking about doing it, or you got to do it. You got to put your plans in action.
Mhm. No, I totally agree. Like putting those plans in action, getting them implemented, and really just making good notes, like setting those goals, making sure you have down what you want to accomplish, put it to pen to paper or in your computer, and make sure that you have a timeline for it, and you give yourself deadlines, and just like you will hold an employee accountable, like hold yourself accountable, make that accountability chart. So that you could, push things forward, make things easier for yourself because we all are guilty of saying like, hey, we want to make this change, we want to make this implementation, and we fall short of the goal.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, actually, when we get off this chat here, I'm gonna call up one of my distributors because I know I have a few parts that I got to order. So, I'm gonna get right on that. Um, And yeah, it's very easy to kind of slack off this time of year. So you have to just keep busy, just keep things rolling. And you mentioned making notes, whether it's pen and paper. I use the notes, in my iPhone. I'm constantly making notes. Whether it's for customers, for people I have to put on schedule, for um, just order yard signs. If I think about ordering yard signs, I'll put that in my notes. And making lists. I have lists of things that need to get done. Whether it's again, ordering yard signs, buying this equipment, doing oil changes, just work on website, add pictures, work on Google reviews, whatever. I'm constantly making lists of pretty much chores for myself.
No, that's good. Like
You-
you have that list, and then you just talked about, hey, look, after this coffee chat, I'm going to go out and actually,
yeah,
uh,
even just like shopping around this year, I shopped for some new insurance, vehicle insurance, and then I ended up getting a deal with homeowners as well, where they were able to bundle everything. But I made a 20-minute phone call, and I'm saving over $1,000 a year now on my insurance for better coverage. So just little things like that, just to kind of keep busy and be efficient and save money and all that good stuff.
no, that's great. Like that's great that you have that, and then like you're able to save that money and putting it back into your pocket. And that's another thing for a whole nother conversation is just looking at ways that you could cut costs or change to something that may be more cost effective for your business.
Hmm. Yeah, and putting the money in your pocket. I think
Mhm.
that's important. I don't want to go too far into this, but yeah, make sure you get paid. Put money in your pocket. Invest your money. I've always been pretty good at this, and I kind of learned to invest a few years ago. Um, but I have buddies that are in similar industries, and they're constantly, it seems like, um, buying trucks and lawnmowers and whatever. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but like some of my friends I talk to, and they're always broke. They have these businesses, but they don't have any money themselves. So it's important. Put the money in your pocket. Invest it. Let it work for you.
I totally agree with that. But it's been great. We've had a great coffee chat. We really appreciate these insights. If somebody wanted to reach out, where can they find you at?
My email is gardenstateexterior@gmail.com. My website is www.gardenstateexterior.com. And even if anybody wanted to call me, 856-981-3414. I'm always open to chat, help people out, and just talk business.
Oh, excellent. Well, we appreciate it, Chris. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you, man.
No problem.
Have a good
Thanks.
one.
Have a good one. Thanks everyone for listening to this episode. Make sure you tune into the next one. Until next time.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Blueprint Boost for Contractors. We hope you found today's insights and strategies valuable for your contracting business. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and please leave us a review. Your feedback helps us bring content that truly matters.